Sadly and tragically, I'm sure you heard, Troy Davis was in fact executed last night in Georgia. It's horrible news. Despite efforts of tons of anti-death penalty groups, it happened. We murdered an innocent man last night, and we're going to talk more about the death penalty later on in the show with my friend Lee Camp. But before we move on, I actually wanted to talk about this statistic that I saw yesterday. Of all the countries in the world, the United States of America executed the 5th most people in 2010. And I'm going to run down the countries that executed more than us. The number one country that executed the most people was China. Number two was Iran. Number 3 was North Korea. Number 4 was Yemen. And number 5 was us. 6 was Saudi Arabia. So when you think of justice and freedom and just the whole entire system of justice, that's not the best company to keep, is it, huh? I mean, Iran and North Korea, they're supposedly part of the axis of evil, right? And if we're just one slot away from them, what the hell does that make us, really? And you can't deny it. Last night, an innocent man was murdered last night by our government. And he's not the first to be murdered by our government, and he's not going to be the last, sadly. And I want to, if you support the death penalty, or if you know someone who does, if you know someone who does, or if you do, I want you to ask yourself or ask them a very, very simple question. And it's I know people will say stuff like, well, what if it was your family member who was murdered? But the question I have to the only response I have to that, is to ask, how many innocent people being executed are you okay with? Seriously, how many? Are you fine with one innocent person being killed by our government? Are you fine with 10? With 100, 200, 500? Seriously, how many people? I want an actual number. I want an answer. Is that innocent person's life that was killed by our government, by a state, is that innocent person's life worth putting to death a guilty person? And if your answer is yes, that it's fine that some innocent people are murdered by the state to exact revenge on some of the guilty, then seriously, I want a number. How many innocent people killed by the government is okay with you? Give me a actual number.